And this matter is before the court today on Mr. Robart's application for full guardianship of KK, who is a minor. And Mr. Robart, I have in front of me a guardianship report prepared by the Department of Health and Human Services, Travis Rome. It is dated December 19th of 2024. Has anything changed since you met with Mr. Rome and gave that report?
I don't believe so.
Very good. And the report does recommend that the guardianship be approved at this time. And at this time, you're still requesting full guardianship of KK, your granddaughter?
Yes.
All right, very good. And I do see Mr. King, uh, biological father of KK, is present at today's hearing. Mr. King, why don't you unmute and I will take any statement that you have. Mr. King?
Yeah, I'm here for the Kennedy today. I want to see my daughter. I'm not contesting that I'm not the father. I just want to see my daughter. I ain't seen her since she was 3 years old.
Understood. I don't think, well, we don't have Mr. Robart. He's only present, unfortunately, by telephone today. And I don't think KK is with him, so we're not having that opportunity at this hearing today. And really, the general policy of guardianship is that the biological parents are allowed some parent, visitation time with the child. However, since that hasn't been the case here, do you know if there's any support order or anything of that nature at Mr. King with the court already allowing some visitation time?
Uh, I was paying child support. I went to court. The judge said he was gonna send me something. I don't think they told me to take a while though, so I could see visitations.
Okay, so you started that process up already.
I started that process.
Okay, yeah, that's the way to go about it because that then they can set a formal schedule and stuff like that through the friend of the court. We do have a process to do it. So, okay, but you're in favor of Mr. Robart being granted full guardianship at this time?
No, I want guardianship with my daughter. I haven't seen her in 3. I tried to work with Mr. Robart and Miss Belser. And they
And
just
that didn't work
right
out.
now.
And now you said you
That
want.
is not the case.
Okay, well, hang on. I'll give you a chance to speak on it, Mr. Robart. Let me swear you in, Mr. King, and I'll get your testimony if you'd raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that your testimony today will be the truth and nothing but the truth?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and so you're telling me today that you disagree with Mr. Robart being the full-time guardian of KK.
Yes, correct, Your Honor.
Okay, well, I can tell you right now, that my analysis has to be the best interest of KK. And given the report of the Department of Health and Human Services that goes through these factors, which I'll go through here just for your information on the record. And then I will tell you what you can do is, even though I will grant the full guardianship today because though you have appeared at this hearing and you're contesting it, it sounds to me like number one, the main thing you would like is some parenting time to get to know your daughter, and number two, I don't have a guardianship or a report on your residence or ability to care for your daughter. I'd have to get that completed before I could evaluate you. The only thing you can do at any point is you can file a motion to terminate the guardianship, and then we would have that study done on your residence, etc. But first, before that, you'd want to do that parenting time, develop a relationship with your daughter so that we could consider some of these other factors. And I'll go through those now so you know what's going to be considered if you decide to file to terminate Mr. Robart's guardianship. The best interests under Michigan law are love, affection, and other emotional ties existing between the parties involved in the child. And there, the investigator found, and I'll confirm today, that Mr. Robart has been raising Kennedy since birth, and Ms. Belser has had limited contact as well as you've had limited contact with her. So Mr. Robart's been the primary caregiver, and that's where that bond exists. The capacity and disposition, this is number 2 of the parties involved to give the child love, affection, and guidance and continuation in educating and raising the child. In that, Mr. Robart stated that he believes in the importance of KK having a safe, stable, and loving home environment. And he has therefore taken an active role, making sure she gets an education and is in school, and provided structure and boundaries in the home so that she has a consistent routine daily. Number 3 is the capacity of the parties involved to provide the child with food, clothing, medical care, or other remedial care recognized and permitted under the laws of the state. In that Mr. Robart is employed part-time and lives, shares a home with his mother, and thus is able to also provide transportation, food, things of that nature for KK, and has brought her to the doctor and the dentist and things like that she needs. Number 4 is the length of time the child has lived in a stable, satisfactory environment and the desirability of maintaining continuity, and that KK has lived in this home for most of her life. It sounds like she had some brief periods with her mother, but that granting the guardianship will maintain that continuity. Number 6, moral fitness of the parties involved in that. Mr. Robart has long ago a 30-year-old, a couple of misdemeanors in his past, but nothing that would impact his ability to parent, and is not listed on the central registry as someone who's been substantiated from any child abuse. Where the mom has been, Ms. Belser has been substantiated in the past for neglect or improper supervision because of her mental health and lack of ability to parent. Thus, that factor does favor Mr. Robart. Number 7 is the mental and physical health of the parties involved, in that Mr. Robart has been determined to be healthy enough to provide the care, and that KK does have a diagnosis, but she's working with a physician for care for that condition. Number 8 is the homeschool and community record of the child, in that KK is in 5th grade and attends regularly and is doing well in school. And Mr. Robart has been working with the school to address bullying and some other concerns that she has expressed about school. So just normal in that respect, interactions with the school. And number 9 is the reasonable preference of the child. If the court determines the child to be of sufficient age to express preference, I always take input from the child, even though legally that doesn't have wait until the child turns 14 in Michigan. In that KK states she feels safe in the home, and that is the only home she has ever known, and that she enjoys spending time with her grandfather and great grandmother. And 10 is the party's willingness and ability to facilitate and encourage a close and continuing parent-child relationship between the child and his parent or parents. And this says that Mr. Robart would support a relationship between KK and her mother. Doesn't say anything about the relationship with you, but I'll ask Mr. Robart that question in a minute. Number 11 states domestic violence. If there is any present and there is not domestic violence or a history of domestic violence in this situation. And number 12 is any other factor considered by the court to be relevant. And the relevant factor noted by the investigator here was that KK had always lived with her grandfather, who's been the primary care provider. Therefore, uh, that is the primary situation she's known since she was born. So those are the factors that the Department of Health and Human Services evaluates and that I have to consider for the best interest of the child. So, Mr. Robart, the one that wasn't answered there was relationship with Mr. King, the father. Sounded like you wanted to weigh in on that. Yeah, you do remain under oath. Mr. Robart, what's your position on some parenting time?
I had, when I first started taking care of Kenny without her mother in the house, where I was the primary caregiver, when when she was 3 years old. I did initially allow her to see Eric. I would take her over there to visit. I became concerned because I would ask her what she did when she was over there. She would usually report to me things like she played with the dog or watched TV. And I'd ask her if she spent time with her dad. Her answer was generally no. And I'd say, where was he? And she'd say things like, I think he was in the bedroom. So it did not seem that she was actually spending time with him while she was there. She was also coming home absolutely reeking of cigarette smoke. And then after the last 2 times I had her over there, when I picked her up, she was acting really strangely, just unusually quiet and distant. And I was no longer comfortable having her over there. I then started taking Eric and Kenny out, taking them to the park and whatnot. Eric did not seem at all engaged with her. I ended up being the one to play with her most of the time at the park. He just basically stood around and smoked cigarettes. And then I just didn't hear from him anymore. My phone number has never changed. There were several months where I did not hear from him. Then in December of when she was in kindergarten, he called up, and then it was on like a Wednesday or Thursday, suddenly wanted her to come over that weekend. I told him that she was very sick at the time and to call back closer to Christmas when she was on break, and we would see if we could arrange something for them to get together again. And I never heard back from him again, ever. I've always had the same phone number. I've never heard from him again.
Okay, and you said kindergarten, so this all occurred 4 or 5 years ago, it sounds like.
That would have been over 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there's been a break. You did facilitate some parenting time for a while, and then there's been a break. It sounds like when you facilitated parenting time, it was in the child welfare world, they refer to that type of parenting time as it was unsupervised when you would just drop her off there, and then it was supervised when you and KK would go to the park or do some other activity with Mr. King. And what I am, going to rule at this time is that there can be ongoing parenting time It could be supervised. It could be supervised by you, or it also could be at an agency. There's a group called Safe Connections at the YWCA who provides some supervision. You can also pay for it at there's a private agency called Journeys that does supervised parenting time. And I think, when there's a reintroduction like this of dad into the life of KK, it's helpful to have another set of eyes on it, be they your eyes or that is Mr. Robart's eyes, or a different agency if it's not working out with Mr. Robart. So I will agree with any parenting time provided. Usually that's provided in a support order through the friend of the court. And I think Mr. King's pursuing that, and I'll allow it at whatever I'll defer to the friend of the court, their analysis. Sometimes it's more general and they say frequent and liberal parenting time. Sometimes they give a specific day or dates and way that's supposed to happen. So I'll allow the friend of the court to make a determination, but the general rule is that parents are entitled to some parenting time. And then Mr. King, if you wish to, after some parenting time and establishing that relationship, wish to move to terminate the guardianship, you can do that. There's a legal way to go about that, and you file that, and the judge, I believe I'm going to be transferred out of the guardianship business. These cases are all being transferred back to the family court, so it'd be a different judge than me would look at this case, with a fresh set of eyes, as it were, and evaluate the situation and make a determination whether or not the guardianship should continue. So, but you're on record today as opposing the full guardianship. However, I am going to grant it because you didn't file a motion to terminate or anything of that nature. And after all, this is where KK's lived for the last 11 years. And I think that the report of the DHHS investigator is very informative in saying that this is all she's really known consistently since she was very young. And, Mr. Robart's done a nice job here of getting her in school and making sure she's, got a, consistent home environment to return to after she goes to school. So those are real important functions, of course, of parenting in a situation like this. And I don't know anything about your situation since we didn't do that investigation. However, if you do file to terminate the guardianship, the norm is to have your home situation investigated too, to see if the investigator thinks that you'd be able to take care of KK. So that's the process going forward. But I will grant the guardianship today for a year from today's date going forward. And like I said, kind of the path, the legal path you need to follow, Mr. King, if you wanted legal advice on how to go about that. And this would also go for you, Mr. Robart. Either of you could request legal assistance from the Legal Aid of West Michigan, and the forms to terminate the guardianship, Mr. King, should you want to get those, are available at the Legal Assistance Center at the courthouse on the 5th floor if you wanted to obtain those forms, to start that process. But again, I'd advise certainly reestablishing that relationship first with some degree of parenting time. Sounds like, do you know how to contact Mr. Robart, Mr. King? Do you still have his number?
No, that wasn't true. Whenever I call her, she wouldn't answer her phone. I don't even know if she still got the same number. So it's just best that I go through the courts because she gonna give me the run.
Let's do that. And you know what? I'll give you, Mr. Robart, are you willing to give Mr. King your telephone number again?
His mother, he has always had my phone number. He has never, to my knowledge, had a phone of his own, so I always relied on him to contact me. I have always had the same phone number.
Yeah.
And
if you're okay
and
with,
I know that I got a call not too long ago from his mother regarding the guardianship of Eric's other child, and which he is not even taking care of his other child, his mother is.
Okay.
And I had gotten a call from her, so she definitely has my number.
All right. Well, what I will do is we're on the we're streaming live right now. I don't want to stream your number to everyone on YouTube because that's our method of providing public courtroom during these hearings is streaming live on YouTube. But when we go off the record, at the end, we'll stay on for just a minute if you would be willing during a non-public portion to give Mr. King your phone number just to make sure he knows how to contact you. That way, it may be able to facilitate, some degree of parenting time just by the two of you talking to each other. So, so I have granted the guardianship at this point for a year going forward. That concludes today's hearing. We'll go off the record, and Mr. Robart, if you would give Mr. King your telephone number. Mr. King, do you have something to write it down with?
Yes, I do, sir.
Very good.